Hoi there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to Football Talks. We are going to talk pre-draft stuff and some news. I'm joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hey, hey!
So, today we have, of course, big news to talk about before we get to the draft. This one's very big. So, Bill, would you like to explain what happened?
The Los Angeles Rams and the Tennessee Titans made a gigantic trade involving tons of draft picks. The Titans traded away their number one pick to the Los Angeles Rams for a bunch of picks in this draft and a couple in next year's draft. I think a first and a second round next
First
year
and third.
back.
If I remember, the Rams give up the first round pick, both their second round picks, a fifth round pick, and a seventh round pick, and next year's first and third. However, they're going to get a fifth round pick and a seventh round pick from the Titans along with the first. So the Titans, apparently their general manager actually was part of New England, the New England regime, and that, what?
Really, they made off with a heist in this trade. They really got a lot of pieces that they can start building a team around. And you have your quarterback, and you have a semi-decent, serviceable defense. You build around that, they could be a contender in 2 years.
Maybe. Part of me still thinks that's not happening, but, you know.
I mean, everything's cyclical, minus, Indy and Green Bay having a bad quarterback. Because apparently they only draft Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Which is bullshit.
Exactly. It's so irritating. It's so irritating, isn't it? But I feel like this is a win-win for both teams. To be honest,
here's the thing, though. If whoever they draft, it's going to be a quarterback, because what's the role of trading to the first pick? You only trade to the first pick if you want a quarterback. Any other reason is stupid, because you can't predict the J.J. Watts, the Jerry Rices, and all that of, like, in other types of groups, you know?
And here's the other thing with that, is there's another dimension to this. This is the team that just moved to LA, and they want to make a big splash in their new market. What's a better splash in your new market when your LA Kings might be deep in the playoffs, or the Clippers might be deep in the playoffs?
Yeah, because the Clippers are the only good team in LA now.
I mean, literally, they will make a giant splash in Los Angeles. Like, oh, they're going for it here.
Yeah. Okay, now I sound like I'm tying it to basketball again, but I mean, Kobe had his 69 game. I hate Kobe and the Lakers, but I give credit to that. You won the game for your team, right, Bill?
Right.
Carry, top frag. But I think you know that term, Bill. Top frag. You play Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure that's a term used there. It's used in Counter-Strike. I would think it's used in COD. But anyway, so who's going to be the player, the guy, the athlete, the star athlete for LA? I'll tell you who it is. It's going to be Todd Gurley. But I don't know. I think someone's going to replace Kobe Bryant in terms of like the big star player that just transcends the sport. Like, even if you're not into that sport, you still know who that guy is. Like, even if fans who don't like football, they know who Tom Brady is. They know who Tony Romo is, right?
Yep.
And even if you didn't like basketball, you know who Kobe Bryant is. You know who Shaq was. But now I think it's going to be Todd Gurley, because Todd Gurley did great in his first year, and that's because he missed the first 4 or 5 games. Now watch him play a whole season. It's like, oh, Adrian Peterson, best running back in the game. No, he's not. He wasn't the best running back, because the best running backs were actually Doug Martin for the Buccaneers, really close to beating him in yardage, and then Todd Gurley, who missed 4 games but was only a couple hundred yards away from his. So, yeah. Bill, if Todd Gurley plays as great as he will, because I don't want to say, oh, he will do it, but there is the chance. But the Rams have to play hot all the time. there's a chance this guy could possibly break Emmitt Smith's record of all-time rushing yards, or not rushing yards, in a single season, right?
Right.
It was like 2,000, how many hundreds? 100? 400?
I don't even know.
Yeah, but I just think the Rams will make a splash, because not just Todd Gurley, because it's not a one-man army. Unless you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. Bill, good luck to your Pistons this week. Or tomorrow, I should say. I'm going to be watching. The first game's on ABC. I'm going to watch that game and hope the Pistons knock them off. But anyway.
I mean,
what?
My team's good enough to win, but
You gotta play bad boys. Bring out the bad boys for LeBron. Make him mad and out. But so
yeah.
you can get Carson Wentz or Jared Goff. Everyone's saying Carson Wentz. I've been advocating Jared Goff as the better quarterback, so I'll save that more for when we talk predicting the first couple of picks, how they go. Because I mean, might not go to Jacksonville, but I want to at least go up from the Rams to the Cowboys, because those four teams, Rams now, Browns, Chargers, and the Cowboys, they will determine how the draft goes, right?
Right.
Like let's say the Cowboys, not the Cowboys, like the Chargers get a defensive player. Well, that means there's probably going to be Laramie Tunsil going down deeper in the draft. But if they get someone if someone else gets Ramsey, well, there goes a corner. But it probably means that Joey Bosa and Forrest Buckner are going to be there. So you know what I mean? Or of course, there's always the Ezekiel Elliott's that people keep saying go to Dallas, which I'll see my piece later on that. But yes, here's the thing, Bill. I've also said Carson Wentz and Goff can be big busts because they're not ready to start. They're only the best quarterbacks because they're the only good ones out of this selection that's closest to being starter worthy. The only player that everyone seems to guarantee that all agree on that this guy can start right now is Jalen Ramsey. And he's the best one. Remember last year, everyone Houston drafted Kevin Johnson, and when they said oh, this guy, he's starter ready. Yeah, he was. He was a good corner. I mean, until he played Tom Brady and got scorched by him, but that's what happens when you play the elite of the elite quarterbacks, and you play the GOAT.
Exactly.
But even so, he still was. He wasn't not just serviceable. He was great, and he's only going to get better. But that's again, if they both turn out to be busts, this will be the biggest mistake the Rams make in their whole thing. You know, this is a splash, all right, but it could be just a big thud at the end of the day if it doesn't show results. Because it's not just the Rams' draft future at stake, it's also Jeff Fisher and the owner's mistake, right? Because Jeff Fisher eternally loves the 7-9, but they can go 7-9 again this year. But if it's with a rookie quarterback, then they're going to keep their job most likely, right?
I would say,
because you're doing it with a rookie, and then you have. He at least has some pieces. You have a good defense. You have Todd Gurley. And I forget their wide receiver. I think his last name is Cook. No, wait, he's gone. He left. No. Oh well. Anyway, they have some pieces. They need more, but they're not going to get that much more now. But if the quarterback shows promise, people are going to flock to LA. You're going to get some free agent players say, "Hey, I want to play for the LA Rams." They have a chance. Both teams have a chance to be good teams. But right now, I say the Titans are the winner right now, because many draft picks. It's what you were saying that the Lions might do, Bill. What are the Lions? What are the Lions considering in this draft?
Just moving back and stockpiling picks.
Houston did that 2 years ago, and then they traded them off to get Jalen Strong, Benardrick McKinney, who was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's a really good strategy if you want to stockpile talent. I mean, a lot of teams are catching on to that now, so obviously the asking price is much lower because, they know that you're going to move back anyway. Like New England, teams near the top of the second round know that they're going to try to move back, so they just kind of cut the offer in half.
And they traded for the Arizona Cardinals' second pick. That's how they got their second pick, and they got lineman, which I think they could actually redeem a lineman, because, you got Dion Lewis was a complete mystery, and then everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's insane." But anyway, last thing to note about the Rams, I really don't want this to bite them in the ass, and I actually preferred Case Keenum, but fine. But I just don't see them starting them right away. But I'm just gonna say, I wasn't gonna care about Hard Knocks this year because it's just okay, Houston. Unless it's like Dallas or Detroit, I'm not gonna watch. Now I'm actually interested in watching the Rams one because this isn't going to be the most unique. You have a new quarterback likely coming in. You're also going to see the transition from St. Louis to LA. That's never been seen before, and who knows when we'll live to see that again, right?
Right.
So that's going to be probably interesting, though. I had something else I was going to say, though I kind of forgot. I think it had something else to do with their picks, but it's okay. If I remember, I'll bring it up later. Anyway, so any other notes you have about the Rams and the Titans? Because I think the Titans so far are the winners here.
Yeah, really, to be honest, it was mainly a pick-oriented thing, and most of the stuff that we need to talk about is later.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. You know how the Titans actually, or not the Titans actually agreed? Because the Rams got an extra second-round pick. That's what was enough for them to do it. Remember, they traded 2 second-round picks for the same year. They had 2. So this is what the benefit of actually having extra picks does, because that can, they might have needed that extra one to seal the deal. It's like, I like your offer, but I wish you could do it a little more. It's like, well, guess what? I have an extra one for the same round if you'd like that. It's like, yeah, sure, that'll do it. Bam, there you go, signed. All right.
Yep.
So, Bill, now it's time for us to talk draft predictions and needs. We're not going to go over every team, but since Dallas will technically be first, why don't we just do the first 3 teams anyway, so we don't have to do it later? Does that sound fair with you? All right, so Bill, on the clock, I will let you choose for the Rams. For the first round pick, the Los Angeles Rams select...
The Los Angeles Rams select Carson Wentz.
And what's your reason why?
Carson Wentz is a game-changing quarterback that is both a running threat and a passing threat. Very deadly accurate, and he fits a Russell Wilson style role, but is 6'5" and all muscle. So, I mean, a 6'5" running quarterback that's 240, that's a Cam Newton type. That's a big dude, and he's got ability, and and he's a prototypical looking quarterback, and, you gotta sell your franchise to your new fans, and what better way to sell your franchise than having a Russell Wilson style quarterback?
I'm gonna be honest, I think there's a breed of quarterback dying, the deep threat quarterback, because those that often got regarded for being like, oh, this guy's got a mean arm, deep arm, can go all the way at the end, go to the other side of the field. You don't see them anymore. What you're seeing more are Russell Wilson, Cam Newton type players. They're mobile. They can run. They can use their legs as well as their arm. Because it turns out now in this league you need more than just your arm to win the day. You need your feet too. You need to know when to avoid. You need to have basically eyes in the back of your head, but you also need to know, I don't need to throw this. I should run. That's going to startle the defense and make them scramble. Perfect. First down. They're not trying to go for the big 100-yard touchdown throw. They're trying to get the first downs, and occasionally then when they see, oh, there's the chance, because everyone's so focused on protecting the first first down marker, someone's going to be open in the middle of the field, and bam, there's your 50-yard. You basically you chip away at them. You frustrate the defense, like, okay, we're going to be this close to him, so if he tries to run, we'll get him. Well, guess what? Now you left the back of the field open for whoever is out there.
Yep. You sucker the defense into playing a close coverage, and then you just throw the football right over the coverage.
I think that was the most, I wouldn't say wise, but that's probably the biggest amount of foresight I've had in this, and I just thought of that right now. But, pretty sure everyone else has thought of that. Anyway, I'm the opposite, and it's good that we're opposites again, because I could talk about Goff. I love this guy. I remember when Houston was doing terrible at the beginning, I was like, draft Jared Goff because I thought Houston was going to get like the 5th overall pick. But then they turned it around. But I like this kid because he's 6'4". He doesn't weigh as much. He weighs 215. So he's not Big Ben, but he's got a good arm. But he's also got pocket mobility. I don't think he's a running threat, but at least he knows when to he can avoid being sacked once or twice, and that helps a lot. Because if you're a standstill quarterback, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, that can lead to injuries. But if you at least know when to avoid and jump away, good for you. And I like this guy because he's a gunslinger. He's no deep threat. I don't think he's a deep threat type of player, but you don't need to be. At least not in this era of the NFL. So, yeah, you have Carson Wentz. I have Jared Goff. So, Bill, I will select for the Cleveland Browns. So, Bill, with the 2nd overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz. You heard me. I think I already said this in my mock draft, but in case this comes up before, which I don't think it will, I have the Eagles trading up to number 2 because the Browns are going to be limited to whoever the Rams select. And they might want Jared Goff, but maybe they're going to do what the Titans did. Get a bunch of draft picks, draft a 2nd round or 3rd round quarterback, and have him behind RG3, who will be basically the meat shield for his first year with the Browns. So, I have the Philadelphia Eagles going for Carson Wentz instead, and if it's the other way, it might be the other way around. So it could be Jared Goff. So for me, I have a trade because the Browns know they need a quarterback, but they also need every other position, just like the Titans. They need defensive line. They need offensive line. They need wide receivers. They need running backs. I could go on, Bill. Basically, they need every position.
Yep.
They need to draft 10 drafts to have good enough players to make a full roster or something. An exaggeration,
Yep.
but you know what I mean. They have a lot to build up on because they broke themselves apart.
Yep.
And
Well, I'll give you who I think Cleveland's going to draft.
all right, who do you got?
And this will be a shocker because it'll be the first time in a very long time that a running back is going to be selected in the top 5.
Oh, I know
And
who it is.
It's going to be Ezekiel Elliott
Wow,
of Ohio State,
zinger.
playing in Ohio for the Cleveland Browns.
You want to know a popular conception for the people who think they shouldn't get a quarterback right away? That they're going to get Cardell Jones, who's also from Ohio.
Exactly.
You gotta
They're
win
gonna
in
go.
Ohio. Political joke.
They're literally going to turn into Ohio State, but the Cleveland Browns.
That's not a good sign. I mean, you can't be Ohio State, but be the Cleveland Browns, who's forever cursed. I don't know what the Browns did to Pooh. I don't know who they pissed off. They're cursed. But I like your pick, though. Since the Browns were number 2 and they traded down to 8, because I think they'll trade with the 49ers or the Eagles because it's 2 to 7 or 8. That's not a big gap. You can still get a top 10 player. You will get a top 10 player. So
Right.
you could get your Joey Bozas, your Reggie Raglins, not your Jalen Ramsey. I guarantee you he'll be gone by 6. By 6 for sure he'll be gone. He's not going beyond that. But your Laramie Tunsil's, but I have them actually getting Joey Bosa. But
Oh man.
so that's who they're going to get. So we say we have the Browns, but the Philadelphia Eagles are going to try to say, so long, San Francisco. Enjoy your enjoy Blake Griffin or Colin Kaepernick while we have the franchise quarterback. And it might bite them in the ass, but oh well. Fuck the Eagles, Bill. I hate the Eagles. But also, congrats on your Lions for they get to host the Eagles and hopefully just destroy them again. I'm talking 49-7 score one more time. I want that. I like that kind of party.
That would be hilarious.
It will be amazing.
What?
Anyway, all right. So, do you want to do the Chargers' first pick or their pick?
They're the number 3 pick.
Yep.
You know what they need.
They need a lot.
everything on defense. So literally, the best available. I'm giving them the best available corner, which is what's his name,
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey.
Here's the thing: I think they have good corners. Let me see what their needs are.
I really believe that they're gonna trade a part of that strength and then turn it into more stuff. To be fair.
Yeah. So you have the one player that we all agree can start.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with that. But for me, I do have them getting a defensive player. But who are they getting? I have them getting Myles Jack. Because outside linebacker, he's going to go after the quarterback. He's going to be their defensive player, but he's a little more versatile and not so much a whole defensive end type. Though, if not him, I could see them going for Bosa or Buckner, because they need defensive line help. They need to pressure the quarterback. Because as things stand now, they're kind of a glass cannon team as well. Like, I've told you who are the glass cannon teams of the NFL, right, Bill? The Jaguars,
yeah.
The Falcons, not the Broncos. I don't think of Broncos. The Packers and the Colts. The Colts are the biggest culprit of them all. Shame on them, because they're like, oh, what's that? We need defense? Let's get another wide receiver. Let's have 20 wide receivers in our 55-man or 53-man roster. Because that's all they love. It's like, we need points. But fine by me, let them be stupid. Okay, so I have them getting Myles Jack, and now for Dallas, with the 4th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys, for me, will select Jalen Ramsey. Bill, who are the three? Which were the two teams that I said had the worst corner group?
I don't remember.
The Saints
and
the Cowboys.
And Dallas. Yeah.
Orlando Scandrick, Brandon Carr, who I think will get cut soon. He's gonna get cut. They haven't cut him because they need someone there. But as soon as Jalen Ramsey walks in the door, he's like, okay, bye, Brandon Carr. You can go now. Who do they also have? I forget the other guys. But they have terrible corners. I think they were the worst because they could not protect against anyone.
Right.
Here's the thing. The NFL keeps saying, oh, they need a running back. You need Ezekiel Elliott. You need to make it for the Super Bowl. Okay, good. You're gonna be the biggest culprits as the Colts to be glass cannon. Because, oh sure, what do you have on defense? Yeah, you have Tyrone Crawford. You have DeMarcus Lawrence. Okay, that's good. It's good enough on the front seven, but what about the corners? How can you protect against the pass? You have shit corners like Brandon Carr and Scandrick. What can they do? They can't block anyone. They can't do that. But you get this guy who is ready. I guarantee you, he's gonna be one. I'm not saying he's rookie defensive player of the year, but at the very least, this guy's gonna at least shake the NFC East or the whole NFL, because he's proven to be ready. He can be corner and safety, whichever you need him for. So this guy has talent. This is also why he is being drafted very high. Coaches like players who can do more than one thing. One-trick ponies don't get drafted top of the draft that often, because they like players who can play their position, maybe play another position, do special teams. All the coaches will agree they like special team players. There are players that can go special teams.
Yep.
So, get a corner, because you already drafted one last year, and he hasn't shown much result, which makes me worry, but I'm thinking maybe now, a year in the system, maybe he'll step up. But then you have this guy to help him, and then you could have a really good corner group all of a sudden. Sure, the defensive line needs work too. A DeForest Buckner might be a good alternative should the Chargers get Ramsey. Because honestly, the first two teams, I don't think they're going for Ramsey, because they're both probably going to go quarterbacks. So there's like a 2 in 4 chance, or a half chance that the Cowboys will have Ramsey available to them, because it's all in the Chargers.
Right.
But anyway, I think that if they can get anyone defensive, I'll be fine with. If they get an offensive tackle like Laramie Tunsil, I'm going to kick them in. I'm going to go find Jerry Jones and punch him in the gut. Or whoever made that decision to get another offensive player. It's like, are you fucking stupid? Your offense is fine. Bill, name me their offense. Not the line, because we know they're great. Name me who is on their offense.
Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, Jason Witten,
Gavin
Forget
Escobar.
a few.
You have Gavin Escobar. You have Terrence Williams. That is a very good offense with Romo leading the helm. Granted, if there's a quarterback available to them, if one of them's somehow there, you get him. Maybe I can understand that because you might not have it. You might not be number 4 again. You might not be in the top 10 again. Because with the Cowboys schedule, they could go 10-6 this year because they're playing scrub teams. But that's beside the point. As long as they go defense, I won't care. But if they get a fucking lineman or a running back, no. Because why do you need Ezekiel Elliott? You have Dunbar, who's good. He's also a good catcher. So that's your catching running back. You have Darren McFadden, who everyone was saying he might be a bust, and he wasn't. He was the only good bright spot in an otherwise terrible offense. And then you just signed Alfred Morris. The minute they signed him, I'm thinking, okay, they're not going to get a running back. But the NFL still says they need a running back. You have 3 good running backs. What do you need a 4th one for? You're stacking too much talent on one side of the ball. When you're so loaded, you're going to collapse. It's going to collapse on its own weight, basically. That's what's going to happen. Their offense will collapse on itself because they have too many weapons. They don't need all these.
Right.
I mean, hell, the Cowboys could trade a little down if they want, get more draft picks so you can draft more defensive players. Okay, fine by me. Just draft defense. Right. Anyway, sorry for the tangent because people who try to think how Dallas should go are fucking stupid. Like, okay. Like, I've seen some good stuff and some stupid stuff. Like, everyone's saying Doug Peterson's a great, smart coach for the Eagles. Getting rid of everything. So smart. That's you said that about Chip Kelly. Like, he's getting rid of the Chip Kelly regime. So cool, so smart. He's a fucking dumbass. And then you get rid of Mark Sanchez. Okay, that's fine. You get, what's his name? Their current quarterback. What's his name? Not Chase Daniels. You signed Chase Daniels for a hefty amount. Which Bradford,
team are we talking?
Eagles.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Sam
who
Bradford.
They
signed Sam Bradford it's because of him that the okay, Bill. I created a new rule, the Sam Bradford effect, where a guy who barely does anything does just enough to be paid more than actual good quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Big Ben, and Aaron Rodgers. He's getting paid more than Aaron Rodgers is per year. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has a fucking Super Bowl to his name, and he's only getting paid $18 million. This guy's getting paid $20 million a year. That's stupid.
Right.
And then you get Chase Daniels, who's getting paid $10 million a year. Granted, he's been a backup. That makes sense not to pay him too much. But I would take him over Sam Bradford, because we know what Sam Bradford is. He got injured so much, he's not the same guy anymore. But they think he's the guy still. Like, if this guy was really smart to get rid of the Chip Kelly regime, I would have got rid of Sam Bradford. He's going to get a job somewhere else. And it's because of that Ryan Fitzpatrick won't sign with the Jets. Brock Osweiler took more money because of that. And, well, to be fair, because the Broncos kind of fucked him over. I don't blame him for leaving Denver, by the way. I still don't. But anyway, yeah, I'm just saying, some people who are saying how these teams should draft, especially Dallas, shut up. They don't need a running back. The next thing you're going to tell me, you need a wide receiver to go along with Dez. Did you forget about Terrence Williams and Gavin Escobar? They're stupid. Seriously, people who try to think how Dallas would think are stupid. Don't even try. I guess then again, that means I'm stupid. Okay, Bill, I'm sorry. I went on so long with the Dallas one, I haven't got who you pick. So, can you tell me who Dallas would pick, and then we can
I'll just do it really quick, is Jared Goff. And,
you think he'll last that long?
Yeah.
Wow. Not bad. That's okay. I would like Goff in Dallas. Honestly, if Goff goes to Dallas, I'll be okay, because perfect. Lots of talent, gunslinger mentality, throw the ball everywhere.
And you never know when Tony Romo's going to get hurt, and he'll be he'll be sitting behind Romo if Romo's in good shape. So it works out.
Cowboys have to get one quarterback in this draft. They might get one second round. I'll be okay with that. But you know who I want? There's there's this one quarterback. Some people, you know how I mentioned him earlier, Cardell Jones. You give him time to train behind a quarterback for a year or two, this guy will be expected to be a star. And there are two teams I want him to go to. One or the other, if he goes, the Cowboys, of course, or Arizona Cardinals, because Carson Palmer. The only thing that makes me, the only little bit of worry I have for the Cardinals, if for them to be the NFC favorite, is if Carson Palmer does not act like how he did at the title game last year, where he's just complete like deer in the headlights. If he still acts like that, then oh yeah, I better have hoped that the Cardinals will do it. I think they will. I expect them to have that much foresight, but we'll see. But I expect Dallas to get a quarterback because all they have is Kellen Moore, the left-handed guy. And really,
right,
that's just a big dead giveaway. It's like you haven't tried to sign a backup, so I'm like, okay, that assures me that they're going to get a quarterback at some point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's the other thing. They have to get a quarterback and they have to go defense. I'd like, if I could choose the first three positions: corner, defensive lineman, and quarterback.
All solid.
Yeah.
All solid needs.
What are your three positions of need for them? In no particular
order. For Dallas?
In no particular
order. Dallas?
Yeah.
Quarterback, corner, and defensive line.
We're both in agreement because their defense needs to get better. The offense is fine the way it is. Don't mess with it. It's like, don't reinvent the wheel. That's what I'm trying to say about the offense. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just make it better if you can, but don't reinvent it. Make little tweaks and adjustments, but no need to make a big overhaul. So next up, the 16th overall pick. Houston was here last year, and now Detroit has moved in. So, Bill, who do you have? What kind of player do you think will make it to the Lions? I have one I really want to make it this far down, but I don't think it'll happen. I'll say why. But
to be fair, I'm gonna go with a position is going to be a corner, but God knows what corner is gonna get down there.
There's only two corners that are going to be gone by the time the Lions get to them. But go ahead and give me the position, and I'll say my side.
It's definitely going to be a corner, and I have no idea who they're going to pick.
Because there's only two corners here. Like, there's two corners that are first-round picks, and, I mean, the rest are late first-round. I'm talking, like, 25 to 32. There's only, like, one or two that are right there. Eli Apple, Mackenzie Alexander.
And that's where the Lions are going to trade to.
If they trade down for it, fine. I can understand that. That's okay because they're late first round. But if you're in the middle, and you see good players of this position, like on the defensive side, I'll take it because this is a defensive heavy draft. But you didn't say what actual position you would get if they draft here and now and not trade down.
If they draft. They're going to draft a corner. That's just flat out.
You're certain?
Even if they're up there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll give two sides. The one I think they'll draft realistically. Well, first I'll go the one I want them to draft. I want this guy to last long, but he won't because look at the teams who need him, who need a corner. Ravens 6, Buccaneers 9, Bears 11. 12 with the Saints, the Dolphins at 13, but they're so stupid they don't know what's good for them. Oakland at 14 to replace Charles Woodson, the legend, and then the Titans at 15. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that need a corner right now, and there's only 2 to go around. And that's not counting the top 4 teams who could use a corner. So, you see what I'm getting at, Bill? The chances of them getting this player, Vernon Hargreaves, all the way to 16, it's just, it feels like a 1.25% chance. Like, I don't know, I can't think of an analogy for it, but just take my word on it. This is very unlikely. So, my realistic player that I see them going for in the 16th round, if they don't trade, defensive tackle, A'Shawn Robinson. And I said it. I said it in my mock draft, but I'll say it for you, Bill. I would like to have a good player who this guy can start. He can probably start like after a few games of the season. But Bill, who's the current defensive tackle on the top of the depth chart?
Uh, no idea,
Haloti Ngata.
to be honest. Oh, yeah. Haloti Ngata.
So here's my point. I want basically this guy to be behind Haloti Ngata, maybe learn a thing or two from him and how to play the position. So when he eventually retires, you already have a solid defensive tackle to replace him. You replace one nightmare for enemy teams with another.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what I'm
definitely.
thinking. A mentor player. This guy's gonna at least come in when Haloti Ngata can't play, and this guy's good enough. He's not a backup. He can also be a starter, but you'll have basically two starters in the position with one eventually leaving. I think that's a good
Right.
thing, but that's just me. I think they should go defensive tackle, stop the run because you're going to deal with like Eddie Lacy, and then
Oh, yeah.
and if my second mock draft goes according to plan, you might deal with Ezekiel Elliott. You had Forte, and now you got Elliott. Not good. So, okay, Bill.
Yep.
So, before we move to the Texans, what are your positions of need? 3 positions of need in no particular order.
For the Lions, that is definitely corner. That is definitely, I would say definitely, offensive line and center.
Wait. So, wait. Well, you're saying offensive line and center. That's like they're 2 different things. It's just offensive line.
Yeah, just a center and a lot of offensive linemen and a corner, and there we go.
Well, for me, you see, here's the thing. I have 4, but if I have to pick 3, corner's number 1 for me.
Right.
But here, and then I have linemen, but then these last 2 are what tear me. Defensive tackle and wide receiver. I'm proposing maybe they go for like a 4th round or 3rd round wide receiver and, make him a backup and, be like a prospect type player. Like one you got to train up and add skills to him to make him better and starter worthy. But that's just me because I just can't think of other wide receivers that they really want to pursue. But Bill, your trade down option is not a bad idea because if they do trade down, like say they trade with the I don't know, let's say the Washington football team or the Bengals, that's around a good spot where you can get like the cornerback Eli Apple because I have him going to the Steelers because the Steelers need a lot of secondary players. But to be fair, that's their own fault for kicking out Ike Taylor and Troy Polamalu. Dumbasses. But I don't like the Steelers, so I don't care. Anyway, so the last team we'll be talking about right now is the Houston Texans. So, Bill, do you know, I think I've told you about the one player I've been going crazy over that I'm hoping out of all these picks, the one I really want, I want this player to go to Houston. Wide receiver,
Okay.
Corey Coleman. And I'll tell you why. Here's the thing. Some say he should go to the Vikings, and the Vikings, there's a suggestion that the Chargers pull off a Melvin Gordon against the Texans. Because last year, Melvin Gordon was going to go to the Texans. They were going to get him. But here's the draft order. 49ers, Texans, Dolphins. What happened was the Dolphins switched with the 49ers for nothing. They just said, okay, we could switch. You just want Melvin Gordon? We don't want him. Go ahead. So they did it. They switched, and they took Melvin Gordon, which turned out so far, at least, to be good for Houston, because Melvin Gordon, 1 year, I'm already calling him a bust. But meanwhile, Amir Abdullah is just like, yeah, I'm glad I got taken in the 2nd round. Humble brag.
Yeah.
Bill? Wait, hold on.
Yep. It's all good.
Alright, okay, so I was trying to say that the... oh god, not again.
Good?
Yeah, I hope so. So as I was
All right.
trying to say, basically that's what happened, and I think the Texans got the last laugh because Kevin Johnson was actually starter worthy and good enough. He's been good so far. Hopefully, I expect more out of year 2 because if you have Kareem Jackson Jonathan Joseph. They call him J-Jo, but no, we call him JoJo. He's a JoJo, and he's off on a bizarre adventure. And then you have Kevin Johnson. You have the best trio of cornerbacks possibly right there in the making, because Kareem and Jonathan Joseph haven't lost their edge just yet. So that's a monster corner group in the making right there. You already have a good defense. So I see I can't think of any other reason to not go wide receiver, because you have Hopkins, you have Cecil Shorts, you have Jalen Strong. Because Nate Washington went to the Patriots, and he's probably going to get a ring. He earned it, though. He's earned one. He's a good player. Though I would prefer Andre Johnson. I wish he went to New England, but that's not happening now.
Nope.
Better hope the Cardinals get him or something.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Anyway, so I love Jalen Strong, and I saw some of his practices with Brock Osweiler and Hopkins at in Arizona, ironically, and oh boy, I like his leg work when he tries to make a jump catch. Like he was jumping back out of the end zone, but he was able to get his feet both in bounds. It was like, oh man, it was in slow motion too. It was a nice effect. It was really cool. So he's getting better at being an end zone threat, because that's what he's been so far, an end zone threat. I mean, if his Hail Mary catches back when he was I forget the team he was from. Like it was a Blue Devil, something Devil.
Oh,
Sun Devils.
Duke?
I think it's Sun Devils.
Oh, Arizona State?
Yeah, he's from Arizona.
Okay, Arizona State Sun Devils. Then.
Yeah. I saw the Hail Mary. It's like, wow. And then, of course, he caught a Hail Mary pass from Hoyer, who is out the door, by the way. So I have the Texans getting a wide receiver, though I should mention, if they get a defensive end, at first I was going to slam them for it, but then I thought about something. They lost Jared Crick, who was actually a good backup to Watt. He got a couple sacks because Watt hogs them all, but when Watt's being clogged up, it's Crick that usually does the pressure. And then, of course, you have Whitney Merciless, and you have Jadeveon Clowney, who I'm hoping actually shows up this time and does more, which he did good for how little he played this year. So if they get a defensive end, I'm okay with that. Though I'd prefer they get a third-round defensive end. But if I have to tell you my I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Bill, who would you see these guys? What type of position do you want them to go for?
I honestly believe that they're going to go offense, and they're going to go wide receiver as well. I totally agree with you on every major point that you made regarding that.
Well, specifically on Coleman. Coleman's not a lead guy. This was the point I was going to make why the Vikings won't trade to get him, because for me, I have Laquan Treadwell and Will Fuller going different teams. Like I have, in my current mock draft, this is my final one, Laquan Treadwell is going to New York. That scares me. But, and Will Fuller goes to the Bills, because at first, I recorded this just before he retired, but Percy Harvin's now retiring, Bill.
Yep.
So now, there's a position at wide receiver that can help Sammy Watkins. Perfect timing.
Yep.
And I can see the Bills are fine on defense. They could use a defensive end because Mario Williams is gone, but they think they're going to go wide receiver too. So there's two players gone. So now you have Josh Doxson and Corey Coleman. But the difference is Corey Coleman is not the number one guy. Like, these are the teams I can see him going to. The Texans, possibly the Washington football team, but I think they've got two wide receivers. I think they're good. And also the Bengals. Remember, they lost Mohamed Sanu, and who's the one that you got from them? What's his name?
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones.
A
little off subject, by the way, but did you know he uses his money to help his sister train for the Olympics?
No, I did not.
That's a really nice gesture for him. He really wants his sister to succeed. That's really cool. I think that's a really nice thing to do with your money. At least you're not spending it like a certain quarterback and wide receiver from a certain town in Ohio, partying in the Sunset Boulevard, getting drunk and causing $20,000 in property damage. That's enough, you know, subtweeting basically as what I'm doing. That's not subtweeting, but
Right.
I'm just shit talking behind his back. But anyway, so Corey Coleman, I could see going to those teams because they have already their guy. Like Washington football team has Pierre Garcon and Deshaun Jackson. The Bengals have AJ Green, and if you put Corey Coleman there, you have two evil wide receivers you got to go up against right there. But then I thought, what about Houston? You have Hopkins, who's making crazy catches every day, and then you have Cecil Shorts, who's also a run guy. But he might move up the slot, move from slot to number 2. But then you have Corey Coleman, who's a slot player, but he's dangerous as a slot player. Usually, it's like
Right.
slot players are usually those that aren't the best. Well, this guy's the best at being a slot receiver. He's a Steve Smith. People compare him to that, and rightfully so. He's 5'11", but when he plays, he's like 6'2", big physical guy who will just shove you aside and make a dash for the end zone.
Right.
This guy's got speed, and that's what I think they need right now. They need speed because you got to go fast, Bill. Too fast for you, mate. But here's an interesting thing. Houston. This is an interesting story. I just want to bring this up since we're talking draft. A Houston scout. He texted the wrong person or something. He tried to get in talk with Dak Prescott, who's supposed to be a 3rd or 4th round draft, or that's where he's expected to go.
Right.
They liked his talent. They wanted to have a workout with him. But turns out he texted the wrong person.
Oh, jeez.
And that got leaked onto the internet. Now, I don't know if that guy's going to lose his job. But
Right.
that got me thinking, are they going to have 3 quarterbacks, or are they going to have 4? Like, 2 in the practice squad, which I don't think they will do, but it's like, are they just doing this in case, not just if Brock Osweiler becomes a big bust, which is going to haunt them forever, but Tom Savage doesn't do anything either.
I think you always want to have depth, no matter where.
Yeah, because I think Hoyer's going out the door. But if they get they get Dak Prescott or some other quarterback who's like going to be a backup, like he's going to go to the depth chart. He's going to go to the practice squad for sure. But I'm thinking, this is gonna piss off Brock Osweiler a little bit. But hey, it's for assurance sake. But anyway, so for my 3 positions of need, I just wanted to bring up that story because I found out it happened a couple days ago actually. So I was like, cool. I'm going to mention this in the video. Okay, so the 3 positions of need. I could tell you position for each draft if I could, or for each round in the draft if I could choose. For the first 3 at least. First round, wide receiver. Get Corey Coleman and be done. That's it. You're done with offense really for now. You can get a tight end, though I don't think they're going to get a tight end. Unless maybe 4th round, 5th round. I don't know. They could use a tight end because Garrett Graham's gone. A good substitution if this guy can make it, because I see him going to the Jets. Henry Hunter's a good alternative for them, because you could have a good enough tight end. Because C.J. Fedorowicz is a terrible tight end. I don't know why they didn't cut him. To me he's the worst that I've seen.
Right.
You can get a tight end in Henry Hunter, or you could just get a wide receiver in Corey Coleman if they're both available. I don't care who you go with because they're good. They need a tight end. That's their last really big piece on offense. Aside from, what's my 2nd round pick? Offensive line. Get a guard, right guard if you can. Or a center. Have the center compete for the starting job. Because you don't know how Tony Bergstrom can be, because he got hurt with the Oakland Raiders and that's why he was cut. Get a guard because Brandon Brooks is gone, and honestly, good riddance because he was pretty trash when I first saw him when he was playing against the Chiefs. He just let himself get shoved back by. It wasn't even by anyone spectacular. It was no Justin Houston or anything or Datari Poe. None of them. No. It was just it was a backup. It's like, dude, you don't belong. You don't belong here. And he went to the Bears. Good for you, because you're gonna go like 4-12. So, wide receiver, offensive lineman and defensive end. Third round defensive end, have him basically get good as time goes along.
Right.
Add depth to the depth chart, basically.
Yep.
Anyway, do you have any other notes for this draft, Bill?
Not really. I didn't really watch too much college football, so this year was more of a feel it out process. I'm not really versed on who was coming out this year, so that was part of the issue. And I hope everyone has a great draft. That's all I care about.
You hope Detroit has a good draft.
Oh yeah.
But you will be watching this next season. Year 2 for Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
Who's got it better than us?
Oh yeah. All right.
So okay. Oh, you never told me your 3 positions of need for Houston. So let's get that out of the way before we go.
Actually, I totally agree with you on the 3 that they need.
All right.
I totally agree.
All right. Okay, so that'll do it. We will be out the door. We'll see you guys after the draft. We'll talk the draft. Our post-draft thoughts and how well we think our teams did. So we'll see you guys in a week or so.